Hi, this is Ponch. Welcome to Tell Me Another, Dead Air, a cross-channel horror audio series. This is episode 6 in that series, and all episodes are out now, so be sure to go through and listen to them all. Links are in the video's notes. This is called Echo Track.
We shouldn't still be here.
There's nowhere else to be.
You mean physically or narratively?
Doesn't matter.
We can try the road again. Head down past the tree line. Stay off the trail.
We tried that yesterday.
No, wasn't that this morning?
How long have you all been hearing it?
Hearing what?
The voice. Mine. Outside.
If I heard your voice in the woods, I'd assume you were yelling at some poor possum.
No jokes. I've heard myself calling out. From the trees, from the lake, from the fireplace. Sometimes crying, sometimes laughing. Always me.
You sure it's not just...
I'm sure. It says things I haven't said yet. And sometimes, things I don't remember ever saying. But it knows my breath, my timing, my accent.
She's still inside, right?
That wasn't you.
I don't laugh like that anymore.
Maybe we go look.
And maybe we bring a rope this time. Tie ourselves together.
So what? If one of us gets lost, we all do?
No. So we know who comes back.
It's not lost if it's still talking.
Do you remember it being this quiet yesterday?
No, but I don't remember if yesterday happened.
If I hear it again, don't follow.
Excuse me?
My voice. If it calls from the left and I go right, don't correct me. The trick is that it knows what you're expecting.
Okay, so say it is your voice. What's it trying to do?
I think it's trying to finish the story before I do.
We passed that stump before.
It's a forest, Jimmy. Trees repeat.
Not the same crow feather. Not the same broken watch face. It says 4:13. It's my watch.
You weren't wearing it today.
Exactly.
We were walking away.
We never turned.
I tied cloth on 3 trees.
And here they are again.
What is going on?
I told you this part already. No, you didn't.
Back to the cabin. Now.
You only get to keep what you say first. You only get to keep what you say first.
How does it know we had come back?
Because we never left.
It's telling my story. But I didn't write it. I didn't say it. I've only heard it.
Then say it out loud.
If I do, don't correct the ending. Somewhere west of Gulgong, and too far from mobile reception, I parked the ute where the road turned to red dust and walked the last 2k's in. It wasn't much of a town. A few scattered houses in the trees, a petrol pump with a sun-faded price board stuck at $1.41 a litre, and a general store that hadn't changed its signage since the 80s. The kind of place where breeze carries flies and dog barks and not much else. I'd been here once as a kid, but memory has a way of romanticising the dry edges of the world. It was hotter than I expected, not the blistering dramatic heat of summer. This was that kind that soaks into your bones, dry and slow, until your sweat feels more like a warning than a release. I wasn't there for a holiday, didn't tell anyone much either, just packed up, told the city to shut up, and left. I needed quiet. A few days out bush to sort the inside noise. I figured I'd find it here. I stayed in a small shack-style rental about 500 metres from the town proper. Tin roof, 2 rooms, long drop dunny out back. No Wi-Fi, no clocks, no reception. Just bush on 3 sides and a dry creek bed full of bleached logs. The woman who handed me the key didn't smile much. Wore a threadbare sundress and a look like she'd seen too many tourists make bad decisions. "You're going out walking?" she asked. I nodded. "That's the plan." She squinted, her face a canvas of leathery concern. "Stick to the eastern ridge. Don't cross the line of ironbarks." Snakes? Worse. I didn't ask what she meant. That night, I walked to the edge of the creek, headlamp on low, just getting the feel of the place again. The sky was so clear it made your eyes ache. Stars like a cold fire above the trees. Everything smelled like eucalyptus and dust. I spoke out loud as I walked, just the way I always have to keep myself company. Nothing dramatic, little things. "Watch that root. That looks familiar. Bet that's a trapdoor spider hole." I turned back before midnight. The gum trees creaked. A dingo barked in the distance. My boots were red with dust up to the ankles, and just before I stepped back onto the wooden slats of the shack's porch, I heard it. My voice. Not close, not loud, just there. Soft and delayed. Like someone repeating what I'd just said about 5 seconds ago from about 30 metres behind me. Bet that's a trapdoor spider hole. I froze. Every part of me thought to laugh, to brush it off. Maybe sound bounced. Maybe I was more tired than I realised. Then it spoke again. Not a full word this time, just a chuckle. Mine. I didn't sleep well. Not because I was scared, not yet, but because I couldn't stop replaying it. My laugh, from the bush, from behind me. I told myself it was a trick of sound, hollow wood, echo off the slope. But sound doesn't delay like that. It doesn't wait for you to finish. The next morning, I stopped by the general store for matches and instant coffee. The old woman behind the counter didn't ask how I slept. I asked if many folks camp out here. She shrugged. Used to be more. These days, the bush don't stay where you put it. I blinked. Sorry? She picked up her mug and took a long sip before answering. You ever say something out there, and it says it back? The question hit hard enough to steal the next breath. She didn't press, just handed me the change and added, almost offhand, Don't go chasing your own voice, love. That's how it follows you home. I laughed politely, thanked her, left. But her voice stuck in my head the rest of the day. I almost didn't go walking again that night. Almost. This time, I bought a thermos of tea, a pocket knife, and a digital recorder, the kind I used for notes on the road. I told myself I'd test it, make a little audio journal, talk out loud again, but this time catch the echo, if it was there, if it was real. I walked further, past the creek, along the ridge. The trees thinned, then grew dense again. Grass sharp like needles. Bird calls stopped as the sun bled out over the western hills. I talked. Second day out. Seems safe enough. Haven't seen a goanna yet. Sky's red as rust tonight. Then I stopped. Waited. And sure enough, sky's red as rust tonight. My voice. Too far off. Too deliberate. Like it wasn't bouncing. Like it was rehearsing. I turned back quickly. Didn't run. Not yet. But every step felt heavier. When I reached the shack, I closed the door behind me, pressed my back to the wood, and exhaled like I'd held my breath for a kilometre. I didn't play the recorder that night. I didn't need to. I could still hear my own voice outside, practicing. I didn't walk the next night. Told myself I was too tired, that I needed to let the body rest. Truth was, I didn't like the idea of my own laugh coming out of the trees. But the bush doesn't wait for permission. Just before dawn, I woke to the sound of footsteps outside the shack. Not boots, not shoes. Bare, pressed soft into dry earth. Then came the voice again, fainter this time, almost wistful. Sky's red as rust tonight. Same line, same timing. I stayed in bed until sunlight made the walls sweat. Got up, made coffee, forced myself out the door. The bush didn't look threatening. It never does. That's the trick. It waits quiet, still, until you forget what it can hide. I walked again that afternoon before the sun dipped too low. Spoke out loud again, testing the voice, narrating my walk like I used to when I was a kid playing explorer. Sharp bend here, good place for a snake. No clouds, should be hot tomorrow. Left boots going soft, blister brewing. Nothing, for a while. Then, left boots going soft, sharp bend, hot tomorrow. The order was wrong. The voice was rearranging me. I stopped. The wind barely stirred. If you're listening, say something I haven't said yet. No reply. I waited. Waited longer. Then I turned around. About 100 meters back, caught between two trees, I saw a shape. Not a person. Not fully. A suggestion of limbs, like heat shimmer in the shape of memory. And just before it vanished into the trunks, it said, "She doesn't tell anyone about the letter." I dropped the recorder, ran back to the shack like the earth was falling out from under me. Didn't sleep. Didn't eat. Just sat by the window, staring out at the trees, waiting to hear my voice tell a secret I didn't know I still remembered. That morning, I found a letter under my pillow, folded twice, yellow paper. My handwriting. It was a letter I wrote a year ago and never sent, to someone I used to love, back when I still thought love could fix the wreckage. The letter wasn't kind or cruel, just true. I'd torn it up and burned it, but here it was, whole again. Only one line was different. If I said it out loud, I'd lose it for good. The voice came again that evening while I stood barefoot behind the shack, watching the sky bruise over the ridgeline. "You left something behind. I'll pick it up. It didn't sound threatening. It sounded helpful. Like it thought it was doing me a favor. I called out, "Who are you?" Silence. Then, "The part you never finish." I didn't walk the next day, or the next. The townspeople had started giving me distance. The woman from the general store crossed the street when I passed her. A man I hadn't seen before, sun-spotted arms and a silver tooth, leaned against a telegraph pole and said, "If it starts saying your name, you're already halfway gone." Then he walked into the bush, and I never saw him again. That night, I found my own voice coming from the floorboards. It didn't echo anything I'd said recently. It said things I'd only ever thought. Fragments. Guilt. Names I hadn't spoken in years. You could have stayed if you wanted. You only say sorry when no one's around. You were never planning to call her back. I recorded it, played it back. It wasn't on the tape. I burned the recorder. The flame went out before it finished melting. The next morning, it was back on the windowsill, clean, functional, with a new file titled Final Draft. Her. I didn't play it. I already knew how it started. I don't know how long it's been since I arrived. The dates on my phone have stopped changing. The sunlight feels the same every day. Even the birds don't come close anymore. The bush isn't outside the shack anymore. It's under my skin. I tried to write things down, to keep myself real. Journaled in longhand like I used to do in road stops and motel beds, scribbling anchors on paper. Little truths. Your name is still yours. You slept in the bottom bunk at 12. You broke your left wrist in year 9. You are not two people. But the next morning, the journal was different. Same cover, same ink. But the words weren't mine. They looked like mine. The loops, the lazy lowercase e's. But they said things I've never written. Or maybe I had. The air out here breathes slower than the body. I was ready to forget myself. She'll never notice I've slipped in. I tore the pages out, burned them, put the journal in the freezer. But the next night, it was back under my pillow, and there were more pages written in ink I didn't own. I looked at the mirror above the sink and tried to say my full name out loud. I couldn't get past the first syllable. It stuck, dry in the mouth, like I was borrowing it. I went into town again, desperate for something human. The town was smaller or emptier, I couldn't tell. The store was open, but the shelves were blank. The lights hummed but didn't glow. I asked the woman behind the counter what day it was. She looked past me. "You walked too far," she said. "The bush heard what you're made of." I tried to laugh, but even that sounded like her now. Back at the shack, I found footprints in the red dust out front. Bare, identical to mine, leading in a circle, looping around the house. Twice. 3 times. Then disappearing into the scrub. That night, I heard 2 voices, both mine. One spoke behind the walls, the one I knew. The mimic, my echo. The other came from the end of the bed. Calm, even. Said things like, "I remember the first time I lied. She'll be safe inside. It's easier if you don't resist." I didn't sleep. I sat on the floor with my knees pulled up and waited for sunlight that never looked new. I kept whispering my name, over and over, until it sounded like someone else's. I tried walking again. Not far, just to the edge of the creek. Thought maybe the motion would help, but if I kept moving, she couldn't catch. But every turn of the path led me back to the same clearing. Not a natural loop, not a circle trail. The same clearing, same rocks, same broken stump, same gum leaf folded into the shape of a face. I picked it up, and the leaf spoke. My voice, whispering, "Don't forget this one." It's the line that finishes you. I screamed, kicked the stump until my foot throbbed, threw the leaf, crushed it. But the voice didn't stop. It followed me back to the shack, from the air vents, from under the bed, from the bottom of the tea kettle. It whispered, "She doesn't know which one is real anymore. That means I win." The next morning, I stood in front of the mirror again, and this time, she blinked before I did. I walked barefoot and didn't bother with the boots. The laces came undone every time I tried. Anyway, maybe she was undoing them. Maybe I was. The sun was already low. Not orange, not gold, but the dull flat white of an overexposed photograph. The trees barely moved. The bush felt like it had stopped breathing. I passed the same fallen log 3 times. Its bark peeled like burnt paper. On the 4th pass, there was something new carved into it. There you are. Not a name, not a threat. Just a line from my own voice. Left ahead of me, I came to a clearing I didn't remember. Wide open, dead grass shivering in the wind that didn't touch my skin. She was waiting there, not standing, not hiding, sitting, cross-legged in the dust, staring at the horizon like she'd been watching the sunset for days. Her back was to me. But I knew the curve of her shoulders, knew the braid, loose at the nape of her neck, knew the scar on her elbow, a long white kiss from the rusted fence in my grandfather's paddock. She looked like me, but breasted. "You came late," she said. My voice, clear, soft, undistorted, the way I sounded when I used to read aloud in bed to no one. "I wasn't sure this place was real," I said. She smiled without turning. "It's not." "Then what is it?" She touched the ground beside her, ran her fingers through the dust, held up something small. A gum seed, old and split. "It's the last line. You've been circling it." I stepped closer. The earth didn't crunch. It yielded, like old pages. She turned her head slightly, not enough to show her face, just enough for her hair to move in the air. "It's all right. You're not losing. You're just letting go." I wanted to scream. I wanted to claw her mouth off and take it back. Take it all back. But I was so tired of shouting. So tired of remembering who I was supposed to be. And I couldn't remember the last word I spoke that didn't sound rehearsed. "You're not me." She shrugged. "Not yet, but close. What happens if I stay? Then I fade. And if I leave, then I wear the shape you leave behind." I sank to my knees across from her. The dust smelled like the past. She looked up. For the first time, I saw her face. It wasn't mine. Not exactly. It was a version of me who'd never stopped telling me the truth. The version who hadn't lied about the letter. The version who said what she meant when it mattered. She reached out her hand, palm open. Familiar. Calloused in the same places. "You're done running. So let it finish." I don't remember touching her hand. I just remember the feeling that I'd already done it once before. The next thing I knew, I was walking out of the clearing. Boots on again. Sky bright. Breath steady. I wasn't thinking, just walking. Following a rhythm I hadn't written. I came back to the shack. Found the recorder on the porch. A new file blinking red. Told properly this time. I pressed play. It was my voice telling the story, only not the one I thought I'd lived. This version was tighter, cleaner. She remembered the name of the girl she left. She never burned the letter. She never denied the echo was her own. She didn't resist. She let it finish. And now, Now I'm writing this from a place where the air smells like smoke and eucalyptus, where the red dust never quite leaves your boot, where the silence after your voice fades is never quite empty. I'm writing it down because it's what you do after you remember the ending. And if you hear your own voice in the bush, don't follow it. Don't correct it. Just listen. Because maybe, if you're lucky, she's just trying to finish the story. You never could.
That wasn't the version you told us last time.
I don't think I've ever told the same version twice.
What changed?
I didn't resist the ending.
That doesn't sound like you.
It wasn't. You're done running, so let it finish.
She's inside. She's still here.
Then, what is that?
She's not done with me yet.
It's not just taking our voices, it's making new ones.
Then who are we when the stories are done?
We're not escaping this, are we?
We're not even in the same loop anymore.
If I go out there, well, you know it's still me when I come back.
Look, a new reel. Blank.
Tell Me Another Dead Air is a production of Dissonance Media. The meta script and story echo track was written by Jimmy Horace, or also known as James Barnett. This series includes the vocal talents of Vidith, Phoenix Fire, Ranger Harper from Morbid Forest, Jimmy Horace, 242 Reads, Gemini Reads, and me, Ponch, of Ponch Monster Studios. Find the link to the next episode in the video's notes, and have a great night.